For 2 full years, I allowed my arrogant, entitlement-driven brother to treat our family like second-class citizens in our own home. I bit my tongue through every insult, condescending comment, and toxic dinner party, because I foolishly believed keeping the peace was more important than standing up for my self-respect. That all changed on a Sunday evening when my 7-year-old daughter, Lily, was sitting at the dining table, happily eating her dinner. My brother walked over, looked her dead in the eye, and snatched a piece of food directly off her plate while she was in the middle of taking a bite. The entire room went silent as Lily looked up with tears welling in her innocent eyes. I said absolutely nothing for a full 3 seconds. Then I stood up, walked over to him, cleared my throat, and spoke just 4 simple words. He started laughing, thinking it was all a joke, until the cold reality hit him, and he realized I was not playing around anymore. My brother Marcus had always been the golden child of our family. No matter how poorly he behaved, or how disrespectful he was to others, my parents always made excuses for him. After he landed a decent corporate position, his ego blew completely out of proportion. He started treating everyone around him like lower-class subordinates, including me and my young daughter, Lily. For 2 agonizing years, I endured his constant disrespect. He would make fun of my job, critique how I raised Lily, and show up uninvited to my home, demanding catered-level treatment. I stayed quiet because I did not want to cause drama within the family. I convinced myself that being the bigger person meant letting his toxic behavior slide. That naive mindset shattered completely last Sunday. We were hosting a small family gathering at my house. I had spent hours preparing a nice meal for everyone. Lily was sitting at her dedicated spot near the head of the table, quietly enjoying her favorite meal. She was 7 years old, polite, and never did anything to bother anyone. Marcus walked into the dining area, holding a glass of juice. He glanced down at Lily, saw a piece of high-quality steak on her plate, and, without asking or hesitating, reached down and snatched it right out from under her fork just as she was lifting it to her mouth. Lily gasped and froze in total shock. Tears instantly filled her eyes as she looked up at her uncle. Marcus just chuckled, shoved the food into his own mouth, and said out loud that she needed to share with the adults anyway. My mother saw it happen and simply looked away, pretending nothing was wrong. My heart stopped, and a burning rage instantly replaced 2 years of passive silence. I did not scream or lose my temper right away. I sat there in complete silence for 3 long seconds, taking a deep breath and letting the finality of the moment sink in. Then I pushed my chair back, stood up to my full height, looked Marcus straight into his arrogant eyes, and said 4 words: "Get out right now." Marcus let out a loud, arrogant laugh, believing I was just throwing a minor emotional fit that would pass in a few seconds. He told me to stop being so dramatic over a piece of meat, but my expression did not change. I did not raise my voice. I simply walked over to the front door, pulled it wide open, grabbed his expensive coat from the rack, and tossed it outside onto the front porch. I stood by the open door, pulled out my phone, and tapped the screen to show him I was ready to dial local law enforcement for trespassing if he did not move his feet immediately. The smug smile on his face completely melted away. The realization hit him like a freight train that his free ride of disrespecting my household was officially over. The entire room was dead silent as he realized I was not bluffing. He scrambled to gather his things, stammering an excuse as he hurried out the front door into the cold night air. My parents tried to intervene, but I held up my hand and made it clear that anyone who supported his behavior could follow him out the door. Since that night, the dynamic of our entire family has shifted dramatically. Marcus tried calling multiple times to demand an apology, claiming I embarrassed him in front of everyone, but I blocked his number completely. For the first time in 2 years, my home is peaceful. Lily learned an invaluable lesson about setting boundaries and standing up against bullies, no matter who they are. Taking that stand cost me a relationship with an entitled brother, but it gave me back my dignity and taught my daughter that nobody gets to step on us in our own home. Looking back on that night, I realize that keeping the peace at the expense of your own dignity is never peace at all. It is just slow surrender to toxic people. Standing up for my daughter was the easiest decision I ever made, and cutting off the disrespect brought a level of peace to my household that money cannot buy. If you ever find yourself taking abuse just to keep a family member happy, remember that respect is non-negotiable.